Hi, good morning. So we have had 4 classes and we have learned about forms, lists, user interface activities, platform, and so many things, right? And in the last class, we talked about forms. So I think because of the time constraint, we could not complete everything in the forms, but then there are one or two small things which I just want to talk about before we move on to the next topic, which is going to be tasks. So let's see some more behavior in the form side. So if I just want to open any incident again, and I go to this is the list view. We already know this navigator, this is list view. I'm just going on this form, for example. Let me open this one. Okay. Do you see a concept here? If I click on button, if I do a right click here, or if I go here, the menu is almost same, right? There is no difference in the menu as such, right? Now, for example, if I were to update something antivirus on this form, and I click on update, then expected behavior is that it update the record, but it will go back to the list view. This is so you have to understand the difference in behaviors between different UI actions. For example, there's a button called save. If I just click on save here, it will show you the same form. It will keep the same form open and will update the things. For example, click save. Okay, the same form is updated. If I were to update anything, for example, let me update the group here, and I am just putting a group. I click on update. Remember the number of the incident, yeah? And I click on update. Do you see what happened? In the case of save, the form remained as it is. When I clicked on the word update, when I clicked on the UI action update, the form disappeared and we went back to list view. This is what is important to understand, that what happens for every single action. But the things will be updated because if you remember, we updated the Acme group, right? So this is updated, but then the form went away from the view. Now let me update anything else. Let me update, for example, this one, right? And if I now, and so we have understood the behavior of update. So I just go back here. Let me do one more thing here. Let me go to, for example, create a new instance. So when you click on create, let us see that action also. Sorry. So yeah, I'm just test record for create. And the same behavior happens across all the forms, right? So if you remember, we have talked about it, all these forms, lists and everything, they behave exactly same for all such cases. So it is not that only for incident it is happening, only for problem it is happening. It will happen for every single record. It will happen for every single form, the same behavior, right? Now we see, if I click on, now there are two ways. If I click on save, then this form will be saved and you will be staying with the same form, which means you will see this, right? If I click on submit, okay, then again I'll be shown the list view. Do you see the difference? The same difference which was between save and update, the difference is between create and submit. Did you realize that? Right?
Yeah.
If I just want to find out that incident again, and I created on today, for example, because we have just created it today. So this is the one which we created. Right? So now you can see the incident, but then we went back to the original record, right? Now, if I were to copy this incident, for example, let me copy, sorry. Okay, first of all, let me create a new incident, and then I'll copy it. Now I am not clicking on submit. I'm clicking on, because I know that if I click submit, I return to the list view. So I'm not clicking submit. I want to stay here, right? Now, for example, if I want to copy this incident, because this is called as cloning also, right? So for every single record, you have this option of cloning records. Right. So, which means this copy record also is available for us to view, right? And if I just want to update anything here, I just want to update maybe this guy, right? And then I save it in the form remains saved. So this is how you can copy the things also. Okay, this is important to understand, right? So there is a concept of insert and stay also. For example, if I just want to copy a record, let me go back to the incident form itself. We should be able to see that because it is a form level thing. So I'm just trying to see if I were to copy a record, copy incident, right? And I'm finding someone else here. Taking too much of time to fetch the values. Maybe the instance is a little slow for me. It seems. Let me put anything here. Right? I'll show you the insert and stay behavior after some time because I think somehow I'm not getting that menu option to show you, because what happens is in case of insert, for example, if you're creating a new record, right, and you just inserted that. Now you want to clone the same record and you are doing some changes, and there is a concept of insert and stay, which means that you are creating a copy of the same record and you want to stay on the form also. That is how it works. Somehow the option is not available to me right now. Otherwise, when I click on right click here, I can see the option of insert and stay. I'll figure it out later on. So we will discuss that part. Just keep that in mind that this is something which is pending to be shown, right? Now, another thing which I want to show here is the template part. For example, there are a lot of fields in this incident form, right? You want to auto-populate some fields based on the template. Can you see here? This is where, now, how do you see this view? Generally, you have to go here, you have to click on toggle template bar. If you click on toggle template bar, then what was visible here has gone again. So you have to click on toggle template bar. Can you see the templates here? Right?
Yeah.
And this is about creating a new template, and this is the templates that are available in this case. In this case, we have only two templates right now. If I want to use this one, then what it will do, it will auto-populate, it will create a new incident, and it will auto-populate few fields automatically. So can you see this major incident template applied? See details, what has been filled in. So short description to major incident, so causing serious interruption of business activity. It has been auto-updated. Impact has been updated already to high. Urgency has been updated to high, and caller has been updated to system administrator. This is where it helps you to save some time while raising the incidents, or for that matter, any record. So because this is a form level feature, so it can be applied to any record as such. Okay. So you can always create new templates. You can, for example, let me just see this incident call type. What happens here? Now, if I have seen this, a new incident has been created. And in this case, the only thing which was updated was contact type self-service. Right? That is the change which we have just done. This is how you can apply any existing template. Now, if you, and as I showed you, this is where you can see all the templates. This is the button which you use to actually look at the templates, toggle template bar, right? And then if you were to create a new template from here, that is also you can do from here. Let's see this template 2. Maybe I just name it to hardware incidents. System is literally slow today. Okay. Test hardware incidents. So what we're trying to say here is it completely depends on us that which all fields do we want to auto-populate based on our template. right? Now, if you see, we were creating this template from the existing template, which was for major, because if you remember, we already applied major incident and incident call type template already before clicking on this plus button. That is why it has taken all those values already. You see this color, this contact type, shell service, impact one, high, short description, this one, right? Now you can update this. You want to create a new template completely and you don't want to use all these features. For example, I don't want to use impact as high. I just want to say impact as low, right? I want to see hardware incident, for example, short description, right? And state is new, urgency, I would say maybe 2, and I submit it. Anything else you want to, maybe you want to say assignment is hardware. I mean, what I'm trying to say is it completely depends on us what all fields do we want to apply on an incident, right? So if I were to create a, for example, let me click on create new. Can you see the third, sorry, okay. Did you see the third type of template also came up here? Hardware incident, which was not before. The similar template,
Yes.
so all templates, hardware incident, right? Now, if I were to apply this here, because we have already seen these two, we can apply it from here as well. So if you just click on this, can you see this? Assignment group has to hardware, short description into hardware incident, right? These are 2, and impact we said as 3, urgency we said as 2. And you can auto-populate as number of field that you want. This is where the power of template is used, and this is why you should use it always, to be honest, right? So if you've already identified some use cases where people know that, okay, I can use a template rather than, so otherwise what will happen is you'll have to click on, you have to select each and every field here if you do not apply templates, right? This is where your efforts are saved. And second thing, how will it help? Because somebody might have put something else on the field which is not the right value, right? So in that case, it also reduces the possibility of errors which somebody might do if they're not using templates, because they can fill the values as per their own understanding, right? But we know that every hardware incident for us is, for example, these 5 things have to be populated correctly. This is where it also, first of all, it helps you to do your work faster because you are not supposed to fill all these fields. Secondly, it reduces the possibility of errors also, right? And third, it helps you to resolve issues earlier, because if you have, for example, already put this value as hardware in assignment group, which means you have already also assigned it to the right team without thinking about it further, right?
Yeah.
This is the concept of template. There are so many here. Yeah, I've kind of, let me see if I can find quickly. So these are so many templates which are already created in system. Can you see this, right? So many templates already created. Okay. This is how your template helps. For example, if I go here, so many templates, right? So I can create a new one here. Okay. Now, because just remember one thing, because few things were auto-populated because we had taken it from incident table. Now here, it gives you an option to define it in any table. If you want to define it in problem table, for example, you can do it from here. So system definition, templates have gone, and I can define it in problem table now. So which means that now all the fields of problems will be populated here. Now you can select the fields of the problem record. Earlier, we were able to see the fields from the incident record because that is the base we have taken to clear our templates. Make sense? All good so far?
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's understand a few more things here. Let's understand a few more things here, right? So let me just do one thing. Give me a second. Just see this. Yes, I was here. And let me open this one, for example. I am opening up. I'm grouping by table. So I'm opening up incident template, right? And I'm just trying to say, maybe this one. And if I were to, this is something we just created, right? Yeah, this is something we just created. Now, for example, if I just subcategory, I just want to update one more value here, subcategory. Is again hardware. Somehow the system is not behaving quite well today. Okay, maybe monitor right now, so that's fine. Do you see this option now? Insert and stay, right? So
Yeah.
between insert and stay in this case, if I do insert and stay, the form will be the same form will be updated, and I'll be on the same form. I'll not be, for example, if I do insert here, let's see what happens. So I'm just ungrouping it right now. Let's just show you something. This is how you apply filters. Yeah, so this is important to understand. I think we've talked about the filters already. So can you see that two templates being created? One is 5 minutes back and one is now. Right? So which means when I clicked on insert, what happened was it created a copy of the template with the additional values. Did you realize that? Did not update the existing template. Because I have not clicked on save. The moment I click on insert, which means it is creating a new template. Now, if I just want to apply one more value, for example, additional comments, test comments, option will come here, and I'll do insert and stay. In this case, I'll stay on the same form, and it will create one more template. Let's use again here. See, third template also created. Same, because I have not changed the name there, right? So there is no clause for uniqueness right now in the name of this template, at least template at a template level. For other things there are, right? So what I'm trying to say is insert and stay made you stay in the same form, and the moment you click on insert, just you remember it will create a new record. It will not update the same record. So if you click on save or update, then only it will update the existing record. This is very important to understand. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, let's go back to one. Okay, let's understand the next topic here. If you have any questions here, let me know. Otherwise, we'll move forward.
Okay. Good. I understood.
No questions so far, right?
No questions.
Now let's understand this concept of task. Now, when I say the word task, ServiceNow is all about tasks. Why so? Because that is the smallest unit of a repeatable process, right? Because you always know that in the case of a task, you'll always have a description, a short description, an assignment group, assigned to, kind of a priority, kind of some kind of a due date. All those things will be there whenever you do a task, whether it is for incident, whether it's for change, whether it's for problem, whether it's for anything. That is why ServiceNow considers task as one of the most important parent table, because it can be reused across multiple products, across multiple applications. So this is a very, very important table, I would say, or you can say very important concept in ServiceNow, because for everything you can create a task. You can create a task for incident, problem, change, request, and so many. So let me just show you. Okay, did you see one more thing, that whenever I, for example, if I know the table name, I think we have not reached the table of, we have not reached the concept of table yet, right? So that is why I have not told you about it. But then just for example, can you see this here, sys template list? This is your table name for the templates. For example, if I just want, then what I have to do, I have to just copy this name. For example, this is the table name actually. This is a very important hack in ServiceNow where you, even if you know the URL, you can always see all the records for that table. So if I just do a dot list in capitals, it'll open up all the templates. It'll open up all the templates in the new window. See this.
Oh.
Very important hack for an administrator, because if somehow you're not able to see the menu on the left hand side, then what will you do? Somehow they have not created the menu, or they have created the menu, but they have not given access to you. But you have access to the backend table. In this case, this is the best way to handle it. Now, can you see this here? Sys template list.do helps list every task. If I just do the same thing here, if I just do small list, then it will come the same content frame here itself.
Okay.
You see that? This is a very important hack. Which people,
it doesn't matter, right?
Sorry, matter in terms of?
I mean, even if we put list as capitals or small, it doesn't matter.
It is.
Right?
It matters because you don't want to go away from the existing screen, because if you're doing troubleshooting and you want to stay on the same screen, then you should always open in another window, in another tab.
Okay.
Your existing tab does not really get impacted, right? So this is where a catalog task is there. SC task.list, right? If I want to create new task, for example, then it will create a new task. Now, everywhere you have a template. That is why I'm saying it is a form level feature. So any form you go, you can if there is no existing template, you can create a new one. That's the interesting part of a template, right? Now, I think okay. I'll tell you one more thing here, just because I know we have not completed the tables structure yet, but then still I just want to tell you something. See the number of tables extended from task table. 108 tables are extended from task table, which means so many tables, so many tasks. You can see change. You see change request here, incident problem, everything actually is extended from the task itself. That is very important to understand. Yeah. If I just go to this table task, you can see that part also. Just click on the table task. Why it is not taking me? Yeah. This is the task table, right? So if I were to click on task.list, I can see, can you see 5,936 tasks already being created? And see the numbers here, right? They're all different type of tasks. And I'll show you what kind of tasks are those. Just see this. Group by task type. See this. So many type of tasks. Even change request is a task. Change task is also extended from task. Incident, event management, demand, program, everything, right? So this is where I'm trying to tell you the importance of this table. And how will you understand how many tasks are available right now? Out of the box, if you click on new, it will ask you to select the task. See this. See this interface. It is asking you right now, what type of task would you like to create? So which means this task is a very, very important table in ServiceNow, because it can be reused. That is what I said. If you understand from governance perspective or process perspective, task is the smallest unit of work, which is quite repeatable in nature. That is why they are giving so much focus on this table of tasks. However, the reason they have defined different type of tasks, because every task might have different kind of fields also. So for just to ensure that we have the right kind of fields, they have divided into multiple categories. Okay, this is where the task thing comes into play. Now, and this is a task table which I was talking about, task.list. This is what I have actually gone to, right? If you remember, this is where I clicked on task.list and I got this view opened. Now, for example, if I just want to create an incident task or incident, this, I can always come from here. And once I submit this, you can always create, for example, let me just submit this report. That is why you always click on save, right? Because if you click on submit, what will happen? It will take you to the list view again, which you don't want to go. You want to update the same behavior, right? Now, if you come here, you can create a task from here also. So on a single incident, you might have multiple teams working for different CIs, right? Somebody is working on. So this is where you can open a task for incident. Can you see the number, incident, CI, description, state, priorities? These
Yes.
are really universal to most of the tasks. That is why they are using it as a. So you can see this here, right? Task also, they've already defined 3 templates for tasks. One is investigation template, second is provide fast recovery of service, third is RCA template. If I want to use this one, then see, few things will automatically populate it. For example, in this case, what populated? Short description. It will become standard for everybody, right? That is why we want to use templates. This is where the power of task and templates come into play. All right, so far so good?
Yeah.
Right. So, which means you need to understand the importance of the table tasks, importance of the concept of task, because it will be used everywhere in ServiceNow. And all, especially from ITSM perspective, I say all your primary tables are created from tasks, incident, problem, change, everything is from tasks. They have been extended from the table of tasks, and then they have added some more values, some more fields there, which is fine. But the base table was task. Okay.
Okay.
So let's go to the further thing. Now, what happens in the task? What all happen in task? First of all, we want to do, for example, auto assignments. So one thing is that you assign it manually. That is one thing, right? You assign it to the right group, the right people. You can do that always. But then there is a concept of assignment rules. Do you see the assignment system under system policies? Because mine is admin instance and I have already activated a lot of plugins. So across multiple interfaces, I can see that, right? But for you, the one which I'm going to talk about is this one under system policy. And there are 2 things. One is assignment lookup rules. So let's talk about the assignment thing first. This is where you can define the rules and see how does it happen. This is the form of that. So all of this, whatever I open is a form, right? Eventually. And when I submit, then it creates a record. So we understand, I hope you understand the difference between a form, a record, and a list. So record is a unique identity which gets created up for a particular information set, right? So if I submit this information, it will become a record. As of now, it is a form because it is giving me the option to fill the values. And list view is something which we can see together at one shot, right?
Yeah.
For example, let me, right. So this is the concept of to assign tasks to users in groups. And if you want to see this more info, you can always go here and you can see this, right? This is where docs.ServiceNow will open right now. Yeah. So you just have to select the right release and then you can go up here. So this is where I'm telling you, because in system admin course, you are supposed to learn the basic stuff, right? What is the most important thing, what will come in exam and what will make your life operatable from day one, right? But when you go to Docs of ServiceNow, that is the Bible of ServiceNow knowledge, right? So if you are stuck anywhere, that's the first thing you want to refer to. Second thing you want to refer to is community.servicenow.com. If you have a confusion, if you're not very clear about what is written in the documentation, you can go to communities, right? So, but then for our syllabus, we just continue to focus on the items which are more important for us, not everything, right? So if I go here, I might see a lot of things here. We might not need to actually go for everything, but then yes, in some cases, we do cover the entire topic. It depends on topic to topic. In this case, yes, this topic has to be covered. Now, if I go to Docs or ServiceNow and I go to Now Platform Administration, they have so many topics there. So many. I'm sure you must have seen it already, right? Because we covered that in the first, second class itself. There are so many topics in it, but then you cannot learn all those topics at one shot. That is why they have compressed the syllabus for CSA or the basic fundamentals. This is what you must know. Everything else is like good to know, should know, or depending on the use case, if you have a requirement, something of that sort, right? Now I'm just creating assignment rule. For example, I'm saying test rule to assign software incidents. Okay. So see the option. First of all, application is global, which means it will be applicable for everything. We are doing it for task level, right? Which means it will be, and it asks you which table you want to assign it to. So you can see I am selecting table as incident right now, and I'm saying how do I determine what is the use case? Use case is whenever I know that there is a software incident, I want to route it to the right team automatically, rather than routing to service check and then figuring out which teams to be routed to. I would better route it to the right team immediately. What I'll do is, if I find out, for example, category is software, that is what this is my filter condition. Okay. And maybe state of the incident is new. In this case, I want to run this tool. So this is where it'll ask the question, when does it apply? On what table does it apply, and what are the conditions on which this should be applied? Second is assigned to. Then who do you want to assign it to? Maybe I want to hardcode the user as well, and I want to hardcode the group as well. So let me take the group as this is a group I've taken, and user I'm taking. System is a little slow for me today, unfortunately. That is why we just need to focus on the structured course, not every, because as I said, it is so vast that you can't learn everything at one time. So it is always advisable to go for the structured set, and then we will talk about further. For example, if I want to assign it to Abraham Lincoln, and I have clicked on submit. The moment I click on submit, what will happen? I will be away from this form view, and I'll return to the list view. You know that, right? Now, so
yeah,
I can do that. I can click on save also if I want to. Right now, how will insert and stay appear on this form? For example, if I just create a new rule or want to update the same form. Now, categories form. Right now, I'm not getting this option of insert and stay. Now, I'm getting it because right now the option is that I can update this particular template. That is why it is giving me the option of insert and stay. But then if I click on insert and stay, for example, if I click on insert, it will create a new rule altogether. You understand that, right? That is what we just understood. And the same behavior happens for all the forms. Now, that is why it is showing me update button. I can, so if I click on update, it will not create a new rule, it will update the existing rule. That is why we have to be very careful whether we're updating a rule or we are creating a new template. Now, I've done it already. Now, let's test this template. It is already done, right? Now, test this template. What is expected? If I go to an incident table and if I create a new incident, then what should happen? If I select category as software, whatever the color is, does not really matter. Test description. If I select category as software, what is supposed to happen as per our rule? Tell me.
Actually, there are we should get a few more options.
No. So yeah, we just defined a rule, right? We just defined assignment rule. We said if the incident state is new and the category software, assign it to assignment group should be populated as software team. That is what we said.
Yes.
So I think I used the wrong group there, but then the concept is same, that this is auto populated. Do you see this?
Yeah.
Hardware in Abraham Lincoln. I did not do it. I just clicked on save.
Okay. So it changed to this automatically.
Yeah, because we have defined it in assignment rules already. That is why it is working that. Now the interesting part, so that concept is understood and the use case is clear, right? Why do we want to do it? Whenever we want to assign tickets, this is where we want to do it. Now, if I just go back to the same thing. So here you had the option to select the table. You can select it for any table because that is where it is for the entire task table. Assignment rule. Then you have assignment lookup rules. And when I say assignment lookup rules, I've clicked here, assignment lookup rules. And I click on new. In this case, it will automatically run only on incident table. This is only for incident table. I can do it from here. So I would rather do it from the main table rather than doing it from here. But if you're sure that I just want to run it on incident table, you will save one stuff for yourself where you don't need to select the table name, which we selected in the last case. right? So it gives you only this option. For example, inquiry help, and I want to do subcategories, maybe email. Then I want to assign it to, but it happens only for incident. This is the difference between assignment rules and assignment lookup rules. If I click on submit, what will happen? The form will go away from my view and I'll return to this. This is what has been created just now. Okay, let's try this. I did it for category inquiry. Oh, they've done the same thing here. So let me change this rule first because otherwise it will not work. Let me open this record. You see this one, there's one more thing, order 100. So if I change this order, actually defines the sequence of running this rule, right? So if you remember, when we just went here, even in this case, the order was 100. So there will be which rule to work on. Okay, that is why we should not be creating the template. So I'll just update something here so that we don't do a, right? So I'm just updating this. Very help antivirus. Now there is a change. Now let's see what happens. Same thing will happen. Only thing is look and feel is different and it works only for incident table and that works for the entire table. That is a basic difference, right? Which we have to understand. So if you're sure that you want to create this incident table, you better come here rather than going there, right? Now, again, I'm just doing it. Category as selected and this was antivirus if we kind of see this. Right, let's see what happens now. See this, right? It got populated automatically. So this is the difference between assignment rules and assignment lookup rules. Any questions so far?
No.
All clear? Cool.
Yeah.
Now let's understand few more things about tasks. This is attachment, which we already know, right? There are some real-time features on a task table or an incident or any task for that matter, it actually works. So you will see always these 3 or 4, 5 tabs, always. When I click on which means I am following this particular incident, which means anything happens, I will be, see, you're now following this incident connect, you will be notified of any new comments or work notes according to your notification settings. So if you remember, we had the notification settings here, right? This is where we define what kind of notification do we want. You remember this? We discussed it around. So you have this connect here, right? Connect. Here you can define, okay, I want this particular notification. I want an email, all those kind of notifications I want to connect. Now this is an inbuilt platform in ServiceNow, which allows you to interact with real-time people. So if I were to see here, open connect mini, there are two options, open connect full, open connect mini. Full will open in, the only difference between them is full will open the new window. This will open here itself, a mini window. Do you see this? It is asking to put a test work note on open connect. I'm just trying to put a statement. I just click enter. So see this. Let us reload the form. Let us go to this. Do you see this? I just put this comment. Yeah. It came up in the history. The entire history is here all the time, right? The history is always an activities tab. It shows what people have done. This is one way to deal with people. So for example, somebody else is now for that, I have to create another instance and I have to I have to go in the system and log in and see this incident again. If, for example, 2 or 3 people are watching this incident together, it shows that number here in list 2, 3, 4 here, and you can click on it. You can see which users are looking at this incident. Okay, so I have to do some certain arrangements to do that. Maybe I can show that later. The concept I'm trying to tell you is if 2 or 3 users are watching the same incident, you can see that number here. You click on that, and you can see the list of users who are actually viewing this incident right now. Okay, so this is about the now. This is your personalized form thing as well. For example, do you see here now this minus button has come? So if I just don't want to see certain fields, I can remove them from my view. However, there are few fields which are kind of mandatory and which are not removable. You can see there is no minus button here. No
yes, the color and short description.
And even here it is grayed out. So you can't do anything about it, to be honest. But you can still, for example, let me just do the service offering. See, it removed from my view, right? My view. Reset. Reset means everything will come as default. That was personalized form. Now this is activity stream. Now one way to go here is that you go you scroll further, or you directly see your activity stream from here. Okay, this is activity stream, and attached document. You can open it in new window. You can do a lot of things here. These are generally UI features which are quite useful to people. Template we've already seen, and then this is attachment section. Activity stream we've talked about. Personalized form we talked about. Collaboration, real time. So you can, yeah, if those people were seeing, you can just ping them. You can ask them what is happening. In this activity stream also, you can actually see certain things. I will have to see why it is not. Otherwise, yeah, it takes you to the activity stream. It takes you to here. But then here you can always put a comment, and then you can make it work notes. I think we talked about work notes and additional comments already, right, in the past. Now this is where these features work. This is one is more options where you can see toggle bar. This is your activity personalized form. This is activity stream. This is attachments. This is where you do the runtime interaction. Now you can click on unfollow, and you don't need to follow it again. Now it is no longer following in connect. This is where you do a collaboration real time with the end users, right? For example, if you are looking for information and you just want to update to the user, you can do it from here. Open mini, connect mini, and then update a comment. You can see it directly. Okay. Any questions you have so far on that?
Look, let's wrap up this call at 10:55. I'll call at 11 o'clock.
Okay. So we are 5 minutes left, right? In this 5 minutes, I'll just tell you one more thing. So if you remember, we talked about the visual task code on that day, right? So there's one more thing I just want to talk about, which is if I go here, there is one more way you can create a visual task code from here, visual task codes. Okay. And it can ask you create a new, so this is something you have created on that day already in front of you, right? Now,
yes,
boards you own, boards you belong to. There is just one thing which I just want to talk about, which is if I create a new one, they give you two options: free-form board and data-driven board. Now, this free-form board is actually not on a particular table. It is completely free-form, which means you can define your lanes, you can define your tasks. So it is more about task management randomly, not for a particular record, not for a particular table. In the case of data-driven board, you are guided to a particular case, and you will be asked to select a task type. For example, okay, I want to maybe do if you remember, we just saw the task types right now, incident, and I want to see incidents, which all fields I want to talk about assigned to field. Swim lane field, I can say swim lane on assignment group maybe. Let's see what happens. And it can also give me created all active incidents, active. I'm just putting a filter here so that things become a little easier. I just show few cards. This is one more way to create a particular record. Now, in the case of this data-driven board, you have one thing called guided, one thing called flexible. The only difference between guided and flexible is that in the case of guided, records can be updated. So if you remember on that day, the records were not getting updated. See, here I'm getting this error, reference qualifier violation. So this record is not getting updated. So if it is a board which I am calling it as guided board. In this case, records get updated. If it's a flexible board, records do not get updated. Second thing is, in the case of flexible board, you can, when you do it on okay, one more thing. So if you remember, we said that ideally this works for those fields which are either choice fields or the reference fields, because that is where you can actually change the values, right? No other fields it works. So for example, but then I would always suggest you to create that from the same view which we did on that day. In my case, in my instance, something is not working. As I told you, there is some problem in my instance because of it. Otherwise, in case of a guided visual task board, if you move records from one to another, especially in case of assign to or any choice field, it gets updated. In case of flexible, it does not get updated. In case of free form also, records do not get updated. It is more about our own thing to see, okay, just to manage our task, right? So in the case of free flexible case, for example, let me just quickly show you one thing, right? So the only difference here, right? So these are all caller field is a reference field, right? But number field is not a reference field. Open field is not a reference field. State is as a choice field. So they said choice and reference field, it will always create a guided board. It will work accordingly. But if I want to create a dashboard here, it will not do a grouping by number for me. It will do a default grouping. I'll just show you that. So you see this to do doing done. This is just up to ourselves. This is complete. And in this case, this is a flexible board. Do you see the name here? Flexible board, because I have used a field which was not a reference field or a choice field. And if I do anything here, it will not update the records. It is just from my own view that, okay, this is where I'll have to update it later on in the system. That is why it has done some default kind of laning here. And I can, this is where it does not really rename that lane, right? But in the case of guided visual task board, it happens. I'm just taking time. It happens if I do it on a particular state. I don't know why it is taking so much time. At least it should not be. Yeah. So if I were to do in caller, the caller field or priority field, these are actually your choice list fields or reference fields. In this case, it will create a proper guided board. This is here guided board, right?
Yeah.
That is the difference. And if I do this now, as I said, in my PDI there is a problem. That is why it is not allowing me to do that. But ideally speaking, in the case of a guided, records do get updated if you move from one to and that is the only thing I just want to talk about visual task board. Otherwise, we are all good with this. Okay. So thank you very much for your time. I hope you understood what we learned. We have learned the tasks also today. So you have those 7 simulated activities and few quizzes to work on in the parallel. And we'll see you tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's meet tomorrow. Also upload this as soon as possible.